Now the AND command is a little trickier. So let's undo these and you'll see what I mean. Whoops, made a mistake there. Unhide those. It's going to be difficult on password where the password equals blimey and the password equals ask123. I seem to have missed number 1 out there. There we go. Blimey and ask123. So we'll run a query. The problem is that when we look at this, if logic can be used, if I say if the password is blimey and ask123, well, that's just let me in. It's not blimey and 123. If I look at that one again, well, let's hide that one. If I look at that one, the password is blimey, but it's not 123 ask123 as well. It's just blimey, unlike the or. So it won't give me that one. If I do this one, it's got ask123, but the and says it must have and blimey as well, and it doesn't have that. So I'll need to hide that one as well. And neither of these contain blimey and ask123, so they won't be sort of returned in my query either. So if I did password equals blimey and password equals ask123, I'm actually going to get no records returned whatsoever. So let's take a look at that query in here. So if I just change that to ask123 and change that or for an and, when I run that query, it's not going to find any data at all. There you go, and we've got the empty set. Now that's quite logical. If I did it in this one, we'll have exactly the same thing. I wonder if my paste is still there. Yeah, and password equals ask123. Should give me, now we call it, when it doesn't return any results, we call it the empty set. That's the correct name for it. We get an empty result set. So why is that the case? Well, it's difficult having both passwords in there. Really, we'd need to look where the name equals something and the password equals something else. So let's take a look at that. So if I was to try and find this record number 3 here, I'd need to know that the name was elite and the password was blimey. Now, if we think back to the way we created and set up the database, we know that these are unique. So I'm never going to have the same one with the same password. So I'm always just going to return one record. It's a little bit tricky at the moment, but I'm going to go into wildcards, which may help us in a bit. But let's take a look at this one. So I'm going to try and return where a name is something and the password. So if I go back to this one and say, well, the name equals elite and the password equals blimey, and run that query, it returns the one record, which is what I expected, because both of those are true. The name is elite and the password equals blimey. If I change the password to ask123, there is no record in my database where the name is elite and the password is 123. So running this query should return the empty set. And there we have it. Now, if we start using wildcards, this may change. I may be able to have a username and a particular password pop up. So really I need to show you what wildcards are. So in the next video I'm going to start taking a look at the rest of the wildcards, in particular this %sign, and we have now managed all of these statements.